What's up, folks? It's your man Jay back at it again. Live stream time. So we're gonna go ahead and kick this off. I probably need to fire up my fan. I'm drinking this hot coffee. It's a little warm in here today. Let's see here. Fire up the Dyson. All right. So hopefully that not too loud. We're gonna kick this off, man. Apple kind of, I guess they didn't surprise us. First of all, welcome everybody that's able to make it into the stream. Appreciate you coming in. I guess I can't say that Apple surprised us, so to speak. They pretty much we knew an event was coming, but we just didn't know when. So the Apple event is now scheduled the day before Google's event, and I was talking in my private chat earlier today, and I was saying, I don't think this is going to steal any of the thunder from the Pixel event the next day. Because I think obviously we're talking about different types of hardware, but it's not about just the hardware, it's about the presentation. Apple seems to woo a lot of people and get the conversation going about them instead of people focusing on different types of technology. So no doubt that the Apple event will be huge. Now, right now, it's still just kind of rumor mill about what they're going to talk about, but it should be a new Mac Mini. And depending on what the pricing is, I'm going to get that new Mac Mini. I just bought the MacBook Air M1 chip. I don't think I'll get rid of that. It would have to be really good. Either way, I'm getting the new MacBook or the new Mac Mini if the Mac Mini is announced. So I'll figure out how I'm gonna do that. It's what's up, Trent? What's going on? Hmm. Yeah, the Apple event is gonna be pretty big, man. I think that a lot of people are ready for already they're ready to see this M1X chip, but I don't know how much I know the MacBook Pro is probably going to be very expensive. I know it is, but the Mac Mini, I'm hoping that it doesn't start more than $1,000 because that way, because I know my trade in my trade in on my Mac Mini M1 is only like $540, something like that, 520. I'm not sure, but what's going on, everybody coming on the stream? I appreciate you stopping by. I'm willing to go ahead and let that go because I only paid like $600 for my Mac Mini M1. So brand new. I didn't pay a lot for it to start with, and so I'm okay with selling it for $520 or whatever Apple gives. But the dilemma I face is like Trent, since he's here, he recently sold one of his items to get the coupon or the gift card from Best Buy, and he's waiting on the information. Haven't seen this latest video, you need to check it out about his iPhone 13. I won't spoil it, but he's going to be making some good changes. So yeah, but that's what I'm having to decide right now. Do I want to go ahead and just sell Apple my Mac Mini M1 and get that $500 or $520 because it's a win for me. Either way, again, because I didn't pay that much for my Mac Mini M1, and it's paid for itself time over. I think I've had that thing for a year. I'm not even sure, or more. I don't even know. But I didn't pay a lot for it to start, so then that's why I don't really care if I sell it for $520 because the used market is not going to be too much on the last Mac Mini I had, though. I sold it for over $600. It was the Intel Core i5 version. The other one I had, I sold it for like $650 or something like that. I drove a little ways to sell it. It was worth it for me, though. I drove a little ways, like I drove just about an hour or so away to sell it to this guy because I knew what I paid for it, and I knew what the trading value was at the time. And he was an engineer, so he was like, "Okay, yeah, can you meet here?" He drove a long way too. We kind of met an hour one way each way, so it was cool. But I'm sure he's getting some use out of it. But this Mac Mini M1, if I don't end up selling it, I'll just keep it and just put it in another room or something like that. But yeah, but I'm hoping that they announce the Mac Mini M1X. It's supposed to have a redesign. It's supposed to have more ports. It's supposed to pretty much be like the new 24-inch MacBook or 24-inch iMac. Those 4 ports. It's supposed to have obviously the Ethernet and gigabit speeds, but nonetheless, I think that once they actually announce what they have. I'm really excited about this because I was actually just getting ready to buy something. And I thought about it. I said, you know what? I better wait because there's an event coming. And then when I got up today, boom, I see the official announcements are here, October 18th. Now, this is okay to have this event on this day because, the Pixel is not going to be affected by the sales of Apple's Mac stuff. It's not going to happen. But it's about stealing that thunder, the conversation, the talk. I don't even think it's going to do that because I think the Pixel has made such a strong impact on everybody this year that we are all really excited to get our hands on the Pixel. Like, straight up, that's a whole other conversation. I'll talk about that later. But their event is actually officially the October 19th. On my last stream, I believe, or one of my latest videos about the Pixel, I was talking about whether it was official or not. And right after my stream, it went official, or right after the video, it went official. So here we are, fast forward to another week later, and Google's event is October 19th, and Apple's is October 18th. And again, I don't think this is going to affect Google in any kind of way. It's different hardware, different types of devices, but still, they can steal the thunder. It just depends. It's not about what they're selling. It's about being in the conversation. So I think Google is going to do fantastic with the Pixel as far as getting that, really bringing the hype to it. But when it comes to the Mac, the M1X chip, I am super excited because I really was ready to get something different than the Mac Mini, but I only want to stay with the Mac Mini. I want to get the newer Mac Mini, and I'm hoping that there's a redesign of the Mac Mini. I know there's probably going to be a redesign of the MacBook Pro, supposedly a 14-inch MacBook Pro. That MacBook is probably going to be very expensive. It's going to be very pricey. See everybody coming in. What's going on? Barry, Tech Loving Mama, Night Tech, Joe, Tracks. See you guys. What's up? Trent's here. Ivan is here. What's going on? Yeah, everybody coming in. I appreciate you coming in. Man, I think that when whatever Apple talks about, it's obviously going to be probably based on the latest hardware for their computers because they've already done phones. Phones are done. So I'm excited to see what Macs they bring out because I'm not going to say what I was going to purchase because if they don't excite me with the current Macs that are coming out or they're just too pricey for me, either way, I'm going to get some kind of discount on the Macs that are coming out. Or if I decide not to buy one, I'm going to go ahead and pick up what I was ready to pick up before. So let's get some of your comments here. Jay, is it true that Verizon isn't allowing? I have no idea. I have no idea. Honestly, I would pick up an M1 Mac Mini on the cheap if a new one drops. Yeah, a lot of people should. I've had my Mac Mini M1 for quite some time, and it is fantastic. It produces footage exceptionally well. And what I did was, you probably saw on Instagram, I showed you a different part of my office, right? I have 4 laptops or so, maybe five laptops or so. And I had 3 of them lined up and I had the others closed on the other desk. When I look at my Instagram story, you'll see me kind of pan around. Well, the Mac, the Windows computers that I have, they are some of the highest spec Windows computers that you could get. Like I'm talking about 11th gen Core i9, i7, 16 gigs of RAM. So they're ready to produce video content for me. But one of my latest videos on the iPhone 13 Pro is a 15-minute video, and it took this computer that I'm streaming with, which is a very powerful computer. It's a powerful Windows computer. It is the latest Asus computer, and it has 16 gigs of RAM. I believe I got terabyte storage or something like that. I've got the latest i7, the 11th gen. So it's a powerful computer, but it took this computer about 35 minutes to produce a 15-minute video that's in 1080p. Well, with that same video on my Mac Mini M1 would take about less than 10 minutes, maybe 8 minutes. It's amazing what Apple has done with the M1 chip. And so I'm really curious to see the memory options, the storage options, all about this M1X chip. If in fact that's going to be what it's called and all things become official, everything's going to be official. even on October 18th, and we will see exactly what's going to happen. So I'm hoping for some really decent pricing for the next Mac Mini. And what's expensive in your eyes, Jay? I'm hoping for at least 1,700. So expensive for a Mac Mini, and I'm talking about like starting prices. So starting prices on things normally have the lesser of the specs or whatever, and they often have the lower storage options. So that's the storage options aren't really a thing to me. I just want the power. So if the Mac Mini M1X, if they bring that out and make it official, and it starts at about $1,000 or $1,100, okay, that's cool with me. Starting price, because I know that the power from it is going to be there based on the current. And my MacBook Air M1, it is fast. So it can produce footage much faster than any of my Windows computers. It's amazing how, it's just the M1 chip. You have to give these guys credit. They have done a great job on getting this chip out there and making it fast for content creation. If you don't have an M1 product at all, you're missing out if you're a creator. You're missing out. Yeah, what's going on, Joseph? I see you, man. But yeah, as far as pricing on the MacBook Pro, if they bring that out, M1X, it'll probably start at about 1,700 or something like that, because current ones started, I believe, 1,500? Let me see. Current MacBooks or Pros, see what they start at. MacBook Pro, they start they started like 12 to 13. Oh, they started 1,300. So if they bring a 14-inch MacBook Pro, they already have the 16, and that one starts at 2,400. So I'm hoping that they bring out a 16-inch to like refresh the 16-inch and then bring a 14-inch and eliminate the 13, or just move the 13 down to M1 chips only. Because there are some people, it's pretty much going to be a same size as the 13, probably just going to have that little bit bigger display. So with the M1 chip, the MacBook Pro starting at 1,300, which is definitely not a lot for the M1 chip and what it can do. If it starts at about 1,700 for the Pro model, I wouldn't be surprised, because they're going to try to sell you on it being 80% faster. You know how they do it. They start saying 85% faster. It produces this. That's how they have to sell it to you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really excited that a Mac. Let me see if I can pull up. Let me see if I can find. I just want to see if I can find it here, because there's some leaks. I don't really trust the leaks too much, but I'm really hoping that it. I don't know if I want it to look like these M1. Man, it just says there might be delayed. Hopefully not. So Apple M1X, everything we know, blah blah blah. M1X chip. I'm hoping that the Mac Mini starts at a really low price, because I just want the chip itself. Let's see here. So M1 version said to be a step above the M1 chip, with a starting, which starts at, and so it'll probably start about $890. If the M1X starts at $899, I'm gonna be a happy camper, because that means I'll get mine for pennies on the dollar. But when I sell this one off, so if in fact it does start at $899, I'm okay with that, because I have a Mac Mini M1 to sell to them, and I'll get at least $500 for it. So I won't really care about that. The MacBook Pros, however, though, they're probably going to start at about 17 or 18, because I don't know. Apple might be smart and just bump it up $100. They should. So if there is a MacBook Pro 14 and they keep the 13 and the 16 and give the 16 an M1 chip, and then they kind of just they give the 16 an M1 chip and focus on the M1X for the 14 and put it in the middle, then it could start at about $1,699, $1,700. That might be what they're going for. because it says it's a 4 nanometer chip. So I'm just really excited the fact that they're even going to bring another Mac because I really want one. And I know I just bought the M1 MacBook Air 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't know how long it's been, a month. But that is like that computer, that little laptop is so fast. It produces footage just as fast as my M1 Mac Mini. The Mac Mini, however, has fans, and so it can stay a little cooler, and so it'll produce footage a little bit different. Meaning it has a little bit of an edge on it because I've compared my fastest Windows computer against the M1. It just didn't stand a chance. It just couldn't produce the footage as fast. It just didn't do it. So what's going on, Eric? See, man, what's going on? So Apple's going to bring this new lineup out, hopefully, and I'm genuinely hoping that they do a Mac Mini refresh. And even if it doesn't look any different, bring back. Now, Trent said at the beginning of the stream he wants the SD card back. I totally agree. The SD card slot is what he's talking about, because I now use an adapter that sits on the bottom of the M1. It gives me way more ports. It gives me 3 more USB, a micro SD card slot, an SD card slot, a headphone jack, another headphone jack, and it gives me a Type C port. So there's a lot of ports with those adapters, and then I also have one where it has a hard drive. What's going on, Sister Harris? What's going on? So there's always an upgrade. The Mac Mini is. I always tell people, if you want a Mac, you have to start with the Mac Mini line because that's going to be the best option for you to get into the Mac OS lineup. That's just the best. It's the most affordable. I mean, right now, like Trent said earlier, I think I feel like grabbing an M1 Mac Mini, if you wanted a Mac, it's gonna. If they keep the M1 Mac Mini in the lineup, it's gonna, which they probably will. It's probably gonna drop $100. So you'll be able to get the power that you need, but they'll figure out a way. Apple's marketing is pretty good. They'll figure out a way to give something to the current or whatever the new Mac Mini M1X is. Their M1X chips will be able to do two little things different than the M1, and so they'll try to find a way to get you to purchase the newer device. So you can post some comments. Let me see here. Most of the creators I've talked to moved on to CF Express cards. Yeah, not happening. So let's see here. Man, that's like another 15 years from now, man. It's crazy. It's crazy to think that Apple. I'm really hoping Google brings out some kind of folding device on the surprise. You know what I'm saying? Just have it to where even if it's not for sale right now, they can do it like Microsoft did it. But they better do better than Microsoft. They better actually bring a device when it releases. It better be freaking good. You better not have a whole year to work on it, and then it comes out and then it's got a lot of bugs. What's up, Gwendolyn? I see you there. What's going on? I don't really have any thoughts on the S22 Ultra or Note Ultra. I don't have any thoughts on that yet because I'm so happy. I just think that everybody should start considering picking up the Z Flip 3. It's just such a good phone, man, and it's a realistic device that anybody can use. That's just the thing. But hey, the Ultra will come. I don't even know if I would even buy it and review it because it's going to be very expensive. But I don't know. I just hadn't even thought about like the Note series at all because I like the Note 20 Ultra. And so combining the two is kind of, cutting corners, I guess, because there's people out there that want just a Note phone. It needs to be separated. But I don't think the answer to limiting the Note series is the Z Fold 3. I don't think that's the answer because the Z Fold 3 is limited when it comes to that S Pen. And there's so many things about the S Pen on the Note, the Z Fold 3 that are just not right. So if Samsung wants to impress me, they have to bring an official Galaxy Note device, not really this combination that they're trying to do. Because their S line could have been eliminated with the A line, and they could be dominating the lower tier or the budget smartphone. But I think Google has a great job has been doing a great job with that, and Motorola as well. But so the MacBook, we're going to talk about something other than Apple, obviously. But I just want to. That's the main focus for me. Um, you know, I think Apple has just done a fantastic job from experience in using these products as my main devices. Because ultimately, what I've done is I used to stream over here on this desk with the Mac Mini M1. And this is kind of my relaxation area over here now. And I got all these other laptops, so I start to use these guys because they actually do better with streaming, because my Mac Mini has 8 gigs of RAM and my MacBook Air has 8 gigs of RAM. And so I've ran into situations where during the stream it just cut off. And once they did that once to me, it was a wrap. I haven't had any problems streaming with any of the Windows laptops because they have more RAM and they have powerful processors and they have good Wi-Fi antennas. It's just been a good experience so far. So yeah. I gotta see what this is about here. I keep seeing a video circulating of a Z Flip 3 screen cracking on the fold part. I don't know. People do anything to get some clicks. I open this thing over and over and over again, and I have no problems whatsoever. It closes and opens over and over again. I don't know. But it's not that it can't happen, but it would be kind of rare for that to happen so quickly. And you got to consider the source. You got to consider the person giving you the video. Too many things to consider there to accept just because someone's saying that this is an issue. That's kind of how the tech world works, though. One video will post up somewhere, and then everybody will just follow that video, and all of a sudden, now everybody has, wow, Daniel, you're not paying attention. You're not paying attention, Daniel. I'm gonna need you to rewind because I literally just got done saying what I was doing. That's amazing. Um, this is an amazing question right here. I know there's a delay in me talking and you responding, but I literally have been talking about what I'm using. Pretty strange. Uh, man. So Google's event, we got to tackle this. I started talking about this at the beginning of the stream, but we have to tackle this. Google's event is on the 19th, and I don't think Apple, intentionally put their event next to Google's. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I just think that Apple chose the date because maybe it meets the deadlines of whatever they need to do. And so Google's event will not be affected by the Apple event. It just won't happen. It just won't happen because they're two different types of hardware. But again, like I said at the beginning, having the thunder getting stolen away, that is what you want to avoid, because it could be the opposite. It could be the opposite. Trent is crazy. Man, MacBooks wish they could have this kind of quality on it. MacBooks cameras are horrible. That's another thing. I hate using. I dislike using MacBooks cameras for anything. But still in that thunder away, I don't think that's going to happen with Google's event at all. I think Google's event is going to be a hit. And I've always said it that Google. Google, all they have to do is make sure that their chip is solid, and then the phone will be solid. I've been saying this since day one. We're worried about. I see people worried about what's going on, Mark. I see. We're worried about whether or not the phone will fail, but the phone is only going to fail if the chip is bad, because now it's the chip that Google's bragging about creating. It's their chip. And it just has to work, because honestly, the Pixel's cameras are going to slaughter, as we already know they will. The phone is probably going to have great battery, but a lot of these things are dependent on if the chip is going to do right. So if that chip fails, then the phone probably will fail. It will be a smash fail. And it's just what it is. But again, I don't foresee that happening. I think because Google has taken this time. They announced the phone like 3 months ago, probably. I think it was, or 2 months ago. I don't know how long it's been, but they announced the phone, and it's been high anticipation. It's been high anticipation. People really want this phone badly. I've never really seen, and the whole time I've been on YouTube, almost 16 years, I think it has been. So. 2 carry to 1. Let's see. Dang, has it been that long? Oh my gosh. In all these years of being on YouTube, wow, it's been a long time. Um, Man, I have to check this for myself. 15 years. All the 15 years of me being on YouTube, I've never seen something, and every era has that form of excitement. Like just because the tech is different now and better, but back then it was great. You know what I'm saying? Too, for that era. You remember when a 2 megapixel camera on a device was exciting? Like everybody, So I don't anticipate the Pixel failing at all. Really, the only way the Pixel will fail in an area is um, if the chip is bad, because that's going to hold everything. Think of it this way. Um, think of it this way. If Apple's M1 chip fails, all of their stuff falls apart. Like the computer's going to be trashed because they have this unified memory and they've got all this stuff crammed in there together, working together. So if the chip fails, the M1 is going to flop. Like not as a sales part of it, but just as a product. If that M1 has issues, then boom, that's it. The device is going to have issues. So you flip over to Google's side, the Tensor chip should just work. I mean, they've had plenty of time to work on this because nobody knew about this Tensor chip. I didn't even see any leaks on it. I didn't see any leaks on the Tensor chip until it was kind of official, getting closer to that time. So with the Tensor chip, it just has to work, and then everything else should fall in place. Everything else should fall in place. I don't anticipate the cameras having any problems, but I think Google has mastered the art of taking photos. Now we just need to master the art of taking video, because everyone's been the Pixel 4 and 4 XL were fantastic phones, and it seems like people still couldn't accept certain things. Now, where I agreed with people is the storage options. The Pixel 4 was a fantastic device. The smaller one was, and the 4 XL obviously was incredible. But it seems like people, and there's people that still use those today. There's people that will take those devices over the current Pixels, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them. What's going on? I see you, Brad. Yeah, there's thunderstorms here. Actually, it's storming out there right now. Believe it or not, it's storming. It is not sunny at all. It's storming out there. But I don't believe that. And if you're just coming on, man, we've been tackling the Apple event, and we're tackling, because the Google event is so close. We're kind of having that conversation. So I don't anticipate Google's phone failing in many ways at all. I think people are going to probably be overly critical because they're going to use this excuse that this is Google's best and this is their flagship. People might try to complain about the price, but you can't. It's because if those leaks are real, the Pixel device is going to come in at a fantastic price. It's going to come in at one of the best prices for all the specs that they're giving. So I saw some people saying that the chip on the Tensor chip is going to be kind of equivalent to like a mid-tier 800 series. But how are you coming up with these numbers? Because we don't even have the devices out yet. We don't. And to be fair, I know how they're coming up with these numbers. They're looking at what somebody else said. But I don't care about any of that. The daily performance, just like I run iPhones for their daily performance, and I run the current Pixels for their daily performance, that's really how you measure if a phone is good or not, or if it's worth buying. Or it's not about the numbers that it shows on paper, because Apple has been doing this for a long time. They have these lower rated like they had a 1600 milliamp hour battery that sometimes lasted for a long time. Like the battery life and standby was good on these 2,300 milliamp hour battery, and the battery is better than some of the other Android phones with 4,000 milliamp hour battery. So it's about that optimization. So if Google, all they have to do is get it right with the chip, and they will be fine. As far as benchmarks and stuff like that, I've never been interested in benchmarks. I think that's just a silly way to try to rate a device and whether it's going to be good or not, especially when it's not here yet. So once the device actually comes out, people will run these benchmarks again, and they'll say, oh, it ranks the same in numbers on the benchmarks as the 855 or something like that. So it's not a good chip, which is the silliest thing I've ever heard. And that's only in the tech community. That's only in the tech community. No one's walking around on the street running benchmarks to make sure that they can post that picture on Instagram. Nobody's doing that. Absolutely not happening. So, it's just not happening. So, um, if I've seen Google's post about it's 80% over the Pixel 5. I've seen this. So I've seen that before, but everybody has to have some kind of selling tactic. But people still, to me, like when people review phones, they're not really reviewing the device. They're just calling off a bunch of numbers most of the time. And which is why I just don't trust a lot of cell phone reviews. I do trust some, but I just don't trust the majority of them. I just don't trust because the reviewing of something takes time, and you're going to need at least 3 to 6 months to get some kind of example. My iPhone 13 and my iPhone 13 Pro have both gotten they've gotten 3 updates. Everyone should now be on 15.0.2. I got one that was kind of a small one, and I didn't even read it, but I think I've gotten 3 so far. One stayed the same or something. I don't know what it was, but it stayed the same. But I think I've gotten 3 on both, or 3 on one. 3 on the Pro and 2 on the 13. But I don't feel like Google can really mess this up. If Microsoft can get away with selling the Surface Duo and bringing it back to life over the year that it was here, Google has nothing to lose. They don't have anything to lose because going with their own chip is probably one of the best things they could have ever done. And again, as far as cameras go, Google's cameras are just simply better at a lot of things than most smartphones, where it doesn't. And again, when you talk about the cameras on Google devices, you really can only go on their latest device, which is the 5A, unfortunately. And I mean, if we're being across the board here, we're not measuring phones from 4 years ago because they were better than the 5A's cameras. Because reality is the Pixel 4 and all those cameras are a little bit better than the 5A's cameras. I mean, they're producing the same type of what's going on, Gigi? I see. They're producing the same type of photos pretty much overall, but video is important to me as a creator. And so video on those older devices are better. But unfortunately, we have the 5A right now, and that was Google's attempt at their latest device, which is still a fantastic device. It just has some issues with the camera, which has been addressed a number of times. So, and here's something I think is weird too. Yeah, the bezels. People will find a way to critique things before they hit. Like everybody laughed at I don't know anybody who didn't laugh at the Nexus 6P. They made all types of jokes. But when the 6P actually got in their hand, most people loved it, and the design, they were over it. Because if a person can make fun of the bezels on a Google device, this looks ridiculous to me. Apple has done this how many years now? And then the sad part is Android phones adapted this style, which is weird to me. It doesn't make any sense. So to me, I would for sure want to have the little thin bezels that are on the upcoming device than this. I would. So who's in my driveway? Hold on a second, folks. My camera is picking up. In my freaking drive. Oh, okay, never mind. I see what it was. But yeah, I mean, I think that people making fun of the Google Pixel bezels is just silly to me. So if you're here, if you're just joining in, you'll probably hear me talking about the Pixel, but there's more conversation going on. And the Pixel is going to come up, folks, because their event is the next day. This is just what it is. I want to go back up to a comment here that I missed from Bradley a while back. Let's see if I can find it here. Let's see. Oh, no. Okay, I got to it already. So the stream today is a surprise. Not that I'm streaming on Tuesday, obviously it's Tuesday, but the surprise comes that, I didn't expect Apple to, because I've been reading articles on whether Apple's going to announce new hardware for their Mac lineup. So I'm super excited because I was getting ready to sell my M1 and buy a different Mac because I like my MacBook Air so much. That is just my go-to laptop for editing and just only it's just lightweight. The battery on the MacBook Air M1, folks, is ridiculous. I mean, I charge it. I charge it once a week, or almost over a week. I charge it like every 9 days or so, and it's not just sitting either. I'm using this thing. It's incredible. The the MacBook Air M1's battery is sick. It is ridiculously good. So the the rumor of I hope they don't bring out another MacBook Air right away because then it's not. I'll be enticed. If I'm being honest, I'll be enticed to grab the M1X version. So either way, um, I plan on picking up another Mac, whether I sell anything or whatever, whether I keep something, it doesn't matter. The plan was already to buy another Mac because I have that monitor right there that you see. That's one of Dell's latest. That came out at the end of last year, or I think it was the end of last year. And I got that. That's the 144 hertz curved Dell OLED display. And that is what's currently hooked to the Mac Mini M1. Behind this laptop is another 4K Dell monitor that I've had for a couple of years, maybe a few years. But it's that matte screen thin bezel one. So that's 28 inches curved, and this is 24 inches not curved, sitting behind this laptop. And then I also have a 34-inch widescreen LG display upstairs in the other office. So my plan was to do something, and I'm still going to do it. I'm planning on making some upgrades, but depending on how Apple moves, that'll be the determining factor. So if you have an M1, if you have an M1 device right now, how do you feel about the performance and the battery, depending on if it's a laptop? If it's a laptop, obviously, or iPad, you're going to be getting You should be getting great battery. But I love the M1 MacBook Air. It is just fantastic. It's crazy. Let's see. If they drop another MacBook, I'll be amazed. The M1 Air just came out. Yeah. Well, they're going to bring a 14-inch Pro. They're supposed to be working on the Pro models. But like you said, I will be shocked too if they bring another MacBook Air. Yeah, that will be crazy. MacBook Air, as a suffice. You can't be the Pro. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Can you suggest a good USB hub for the MacBook Air M1? I actually have done several already on that. Let me see if I can find it. Because I'm see this latest one that I got, it is ridiculously good. It's kind of considered a docking station, but I'll show it to you real fast. Let's see here. I'll put the link down there. Here's the one that I would recommend because if you're not planning on leaving something hooked to your oh, it's not available. They sold out. Oh man. Well, can't recommend that one. I got one though. But I have a backup though. I have different hubs and stuff that I can use. Wow, it's amazing how things you get something and then it's gone right afterwards. That's pretty crazy. So if you're talking about, let me see here, the MacBook M1 Air, there's another one. There's another one. And I'll show you that one right here. So I can find it. I think this is it. I think this might be it. Nope, it's not it either. Let's see here. Man, a lot of these things that I have are they're older, so they're sold out. And it's amazing that they just don't make them anymore. Yeah, a lot of these ones I have, man, they're not even available. So I would say, let me find one for you here because there's a whole bunch of hubs that you can get for a MacBook Air. Let's see here. I'll find the equivalent of the one that I have. Let's see here. because there's a ton of them here. Yeah, they're just kind of rebranded and renamed ultimately, but here's one right here. This is a good price. It's fair. I'll share my screen here. Let's see here. All right, so first I'll put this is the link, and then I'll share my screen with you here. Let's make sure I got the right one here. This is the kind that I'll recommend, because the reason I recommend this kind is because it's going to be easy to put onto the device. It's going to cover up both the ports or whatever. It's just going to be good. I mean, this is what I recommend right here, and that's a link to it right there. That is an affiliate link, just so you know. So give me that couple of dollars when you go ahead and order. But that's what I would recommend right there. Say comment here. Jay, are you getting rid of your MacBook Air? No. That MacBook Air, no. I also have a regular MacBook Air too, like the older Core 5 ones. But the M1, so if you're just joining on, some of you guys are kind of catching like a partial. If you're just joining on, I'm going to get rid of the Mac Mini M1 and get the next version, the M1X Mac Mini. That is the plan. So that's what you should expect. I guess that's what I'll say. Yes, always got to take care of you guys. That's what you should expect. I have no intentions on. I just bought that MacBook Air like 3 weeks ago or something like that. No. I would take a huge hit if I sell that. Even though I didn't pay full cost for it, I got it brand new because I got a discount. But still, I still wouldn't sell. They wouldn't give me probably what I paid for it. But at the same time, I didn't pay, what is it, $9.99? I didn't pay close to that. And so I plan on getting rid of the M1 Mac Mini that sits on my desk and replacing it with the M1X Mac Mini. So let me see if I can find some of these leaked photos. Let's see if I can find a leaked photo. I treat it as a leak because we don't really know what's going to happen with this. We have no clue. But there was one leak that I saw that I was hopeful because some of these are I like this. I like the way this looks. They're saying it could possibly be delayed to 2022, but I want you to see this photo of what this could possibly look like. All right, so let me share this real quick here. Share. No, not that one. I want to share this one. Share and share and share. Yeah, this is what I want to share. I just Googled this. This is what I'm told it might look like. Might look like this. Maybe. This might be what we're looking at. We might be looking at a design like this. Possibly. Because the top is supposed to be like this all glass, which might be nice. Just the design itself. Forget all that, who they're talking about down there. This could possibly be what it looks like. And if it does look like this, that means it's going to be thinner, and it's going to have the MagSafe that's on the newer computers from the 24-inch MacBook. It's going to have that, and it's going to have 4 ports possibly, and then it's going to have obviously the Ethernet and then the HDMI, and then the 2 USB ports. That is a beautiful looking upgrade for the current, because the Mac Mini, when's the last time it's been redesigned? Never. I mean, never. They even took a long gap in bringing out the upgraded versions that they brought out. They took a long gap in between upgrading. So I'm hoping that it's released. We don't know for sure. Zach, we have no idea. I don't know why you might say that. Maybe because you're reading what's on the internet too. But no one really knows until it's official. So tomorrow, or not tomorrow, on the 18th. I'm so excited, ready for it to be here. On the 18th, when it does drop, man, I'm hoping. There's nothing wrong with being hopeful. I hope that they do make it look like this. I think this will be pretty cool. Yeah, I think it'll be cool. Does it bother you that the screen is not OLED on the? Nah, I don't care about that. It's nah. I don't know what. Nah, I can't even tell the difference. And I put a matte screen protector on mine too, so I don't even care about that. If Apple says it's 15% faster, would you call that an upgrade, a worthy upgrade? I mean, I don't really care about when they throw those numbers out there like that. That means absolutely doodly squat to me. That means nothing to me when Apple starts talking about how something is, not just Apple, anyone who says 90% faster, 40% faster. How do you actually know? Like, how do you know? What happens is a lot of people will get both devices and then they'll do these speed tests on the internet, on YouTube, and then we see how that turns out. So the claims, you don't really know who's telling the truth, to be honest. We just don't know. So I'm hopeful that they do bring out some improvements over the M1. Let me just say this. Even if the M1X is only 10% faster, I'm going to get it and get rid of this MacBook M1 or this Mac Mini M1. I'm going to get rid of it and get the later one because I want the chip and I want to get as much power out of it as possible. And even if especially if it starts under $1,000, that's going to be good. That's going to be a good thing. So I'm totally excited about that. Yeah, if it says 15%, yeah, whatever. Yeah. 15% faster, whatever. Either way, see, the thing is, either way, I didn't announce this, but either way, I was getting rid of my M1 Mac Mini and replacing it with something else anyway. So for me, it's beneficial to just wait on the M1X. No matter what they say, even if it just looks different, and it has those extra ports and they bring back some ports, they could say, hey, well, you get 4 Thunderbolt ports now, you get 2 USB ports, you get an SD card slot, and you get the MagSafe. I'm cool with that. Even if it costs the same or it costs $100 more, whatever, $200 more, because nothing is free. You have to pay for those upgrades. I'm going to get rid of this Mac because this Mac doesn't have a lot of ports on it. It has a lot, but not a lot. I had to add the docking station to get the real ports out of it. So either way, again, I didn't make this big announcement, but I'm getting rid of this MacBook this M1 Mac Mini and replacing it with another Mac. So the fact that they have these new ones coming out, I'm excited. Really excited. But my MacBook Air M1 is fantastic. It's fantastic. Fantastic. What do you think about the port selection on the new Mac Mini? I'm hoping that. Well, I just talked about that. So yeah, you can hear how. Yeah. The only long-term fear of the Apple Silicon Macs going forward is potentially locking down Mac OS. Like iOS, Apple can control the hardware. That's to be expected, man. I wish Google would lock down these pixels so we can get better quality products. Because right now, obviously, they're not going to lock. Android is open source, so you can't lock down Android. But what if Google just made their own OS too to go with that chip? They have access to the App Store, so what difference would it make? I think the Pixels need to be exclusive devices. They need to be separated from all these other Android devices because Android gets a bad rap sometimes. And in turn, people throw all of the Android devices under one umbrella, which isn't the way you do it. So I think Google should definitely lock down. I don't mind the way iPhones are at this point because we've been dealing with them for so long. And I don't think it's about being locked down. I just think those things are exclusive to that operating system at this point in the game. Apple claims are to be taken with a grain of salt. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, especially if you're on the racetrack. He's making a comment in response to this comment right here from Zach. From 3 seconds cut to 1 second, what a difference! And if you're into racing, That's a huge difference. And that's where Mark's comment is replied to. And that's actually true. That is true. That is true. But yeah, Apple's claims are just that. Even not just Apple, any company like Google just claimed that it's 80% faster than the 765G. Okay, well, we know that's a huge jump. And so I don't know how people are saying, oh, that's close to the 888. I saw someone post that earlier, respect, but I don't know how you're coming up with this number because we don't know. The 765G, the only way people are doing this is they're looking at benchmarks, but those are just like Twitter isn't a real place. Okay. Dave Chappelle said that. I totally agree. It's not a real place, but people make it what it is, and people go in and start to believe so much. So when it comes to a device being good for someone, or if it's powerful enough, that has nothing to do with benchmarks to me. It's the real world. Is it there for me when I need it? I recently showed off one of the oldest iPads that I have right here. This is my 7-year-old. I put this video out and people just couldn't believe it. But yeah, this is my 7-year-old iPad Air 2 LTE model. Still gets full service, no problems. Take it off Wi-Fi. Still gets full service. I'm running it on LTE right there. It works great. So it's more about the battery. Obviously, is a lot weaker, but it still works. It lasts. So I think it's benchmarks come from real world use to me. Yep. What's going on, Sis Harris? I appreciate you sharing the super chat. Thank you so much. Appreciate the love. Yeah, but real world usage, it comes from, the people actually using it. So Apple can claim whatever they want to claim, Google can claim whatever they want to claim, but that's the sales pitch at the beginning of the storm. That's what you get. You get a big sales pitch at the beginning, and then afterwards we need to see how it works out. But one thing is for certain is that I don't have any doubt that Apple's M1 chip and it blows the pants off of any fast Windows computer that I have. Okay, let me say this. You see, I said that I have, because I have both of my Windows laptops are 16 gigs of RAM. They have 11th gen Core i7s. I think the Omen has a 9. I'm on the Asus. I believe this one has a Core i9. I'm not sure. This is my gaming laptop. I believe this one has a Core i9. Let me see if it's got some juice. I'm trying to keep these powered up. This thing is a beast right here, man. Oh my gosh, I love this laptop. But some of the fastest computers that are competing out there, laptops and things like that, they just can't compete with the M1 chip. They can't do it. My battery died. That's probably got to be the weakest part of this Omen laptop. The battery is not the strongest. But yeah, I don't think that any of these chips can compete with the performance of the M1 chip. Even on the iPads, and it's not a selling pitch for me because I have the products and I've done the comparisons. This computer was fast when it came to shorter clips. So I did a test where it was a 2-minute video and a 3-minute video at the most, and it was only a little bit of difference between the M1 chip. Maybe about 1 minute on the M1 chip and 4 minutes on the Asus with the 16 gigs of RAM and and so on. In the 11th gen Core i7, I think my battery's dead on this one. I just took this off the charger. I was using it though, but I don't know, it's crazy. But when I did that comparison, the M1 chip did that 2 or 3 minute video in like a minute or almost 30 seconds or 45 seconds, something like that. The video is up. And this computer did it in almost 3 times the amount of time. So the M1 chips, and if Apple's working on the M1X, it's going to blow the pants off of most computers for creation and editing and things like that. You can't go wrong with the M1, which is why I grabbed the M1 MacBook Air. A lot of people say, "Oh, you need to get the Pro. If you're a content creator, you're going to need the Pro." Nope. I have the 8 gig, 256 gig M1 Mac Mini, and it is ridiculously good for creation and content and things like that. It's really good. And so then that prompted me to go ahead and I trust that setup. So it prompted me to go ahead and get the MacBook Air M1 as well. 8 gig, 256 gig M1. It's fantastic for editing content. It works faster than both of these computers right here. And these are two of the latest computers, like current day. I just got the Omen HP of what, about 2 months ago, maybe three. And the Asus, I've only had this for probably 6 months to a year almost. I'm not really sure. And it still can edit. It can get the job done, but they don't compete with the Apple's computers. They can't produce the content as fast. The processing power, it just won't do it. It just won't do it. So I'm gonna cut here because I'm excited. I got some other stuff to do. I got some recording to do. But thank you guys for joining me for Tuesday's stream on the new MacBook, and the new Mac Mini hopefully comes with the M1X chip. October 18th is the event day, the day before Google's October 19th event day. The Pixel is going to be sick. I know it is. A lot of people are, I don't know why people are so mad about people saying that. It's weird that people are upset that people keep saying that the Pixel will be great. It's like they don't want it to be good. It's like they want to find something to complain about. But reality is Google phones right now are already pretty solid in a lot of areas. It's just that latest device from them had some issues and people ran with it. But I think Google will redeem themselves with the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro for sure. People seem to just be focusing on the Pro model, the 6 Pro. But I think the 6 is going to be fantastic. I think that's going to be a great purchase. I know it will. So I think I don't know why so many people are mad at other people saying that the Pixel will be fantastic. It'll be phone of the year. It's difficult to say it'll be phone of the year because we don't have it yet. Currently, my phone of the year is probably going to be the Z Flip 3. It's just that good for me. I think the Z Flip 3 is freaking phenomenal. Some people have problems with the battery. I've given you battery tips on how to get the best battery out of it. I don't know. It's all on you what applications you run and things like that. If you're running Facebook on your phone, on any phone, you're running Facebook, it's draining your battery in the background like big time. It's killing all your resources. So, but the Pixel 6 will come out. I'm going to be pumped. I'm going to be watching the event just like you. And hopefully I'll be blessed and fortunate enough to bring you content on that, on those devices. I think it's going to be exciting. So, man, but the MacBook, man, I'm going to be replacing my M1 Mac Mini with something. Don't know what it is. So hopefully pre-orders will go live on that Friday or whatever, and then you'll have the devices that next. You know how Apple does it. They'll have the event, and then because the 18th is what, a Monday or something like that. So yeah, the 18th is on a Monday, and Google's event is on Tuesday. So they'll have their event on Monday. They'll do the pre-orders hopefully on that Friday, and then we'll get our orders in, and hopefully we'll have it next Friday. So by the end of the month, I'm hoping to have, if all flows right and if all goes well, because sometimes they they'll talk about it, and then they don't release it for a couple of months or whatever, in preparation, I guess. I don't know. But I'm patient. So I'm hoping to really get this device replaced with something else from the Mac lineup. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll see how that goes. So this man Jay, I hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks for joining me on this stream today. And I'll see you in the next one.